My grandmother told me this story. My hometown is Tame County in the Northeast. My father was only 3 years old when this story happened. Because they are in the countryside, the house was made of mud and straw. You can see the beam directly. At that time, people were poor and they had 4 children to be raised. So my grandfather found a job outside to earn money to support the whole family. My grandma was left to raise 4 children and plant a few acres of land to make a living. It was at the beginning of autumn, at about 8 p.m. My grandma was coaxing her little daughter to sleep, and her big daughter and second daughter trembled suddenly. Grandma asked them, "What's the matter with you two?" They trembled and said, "Mommy, 2 eyes are looking at us on the beam." My grandmother looked up and saw nothing. It may be night cat or something. She didn't take it seriously. Just about to go to bed, she heard someone knocking at the gate of the yard. Grandma quickly put on her clothes and went to see, but nobody at the gate. When Grandma was about to walk to the gate, she suddenly saw a dark figure standing on the roof, more than half a meter, and her green eyes were particularly bright. It looked like a weasel in the moonlight, and she's so afraid that this yellow weasel will do something bad to her children in their countryside, and no one will provoke the yellow weasel, cause it's a creepy creature and very vindictive. Grandma worried about her children inside the house. She picked up the stone and smacked it. Who knows that the yellow leather didn't hide? He stood straight for another while, and in the blink of an eye, the yellow weasel disappeared. Grandma was afraid that the yellow weasel would come back again. She took the children to her mother's house and didn't dare to go home for several days. Later, she sent a message to ask my grandpa to come back, and then all of them moved back. After about half a month, one day at about 4 p.m. my aunts played in the yard and looked after my father. By the way, when they were having fun, they heard someone talking behind. "Hello." They looked around and there was no one. Just about to continue, they heard another hello very clearly. Then they found that there was a half-tall child not far from them, with a lotus leaf on his head, not taller than my father. It walked step by step, very slowly, and looked so weird. Then it noticed they were looking at it. It asked directly, "Hey, did I look like a person?" At this moment, everyone saw clearly that it was a yellow weasel. The big sister picked up her little brother and shouted, "Go to the house, it's the yellow weasel." They were running into the house, shouting and howling. My grandfather heard the shouting in the house. He looked out of the window and saw a yellow weasel standing on the wall of the yard and looking into the house. My grandfather rushed out and picked up the shovel. He let the children into the house and go outside. The yellow weasel didn't afraid at all. It looked at my grandfather and asked him, "Hey, did I look like a person?" My grandpa walked forward with a spade, didn't hit it. The yellow weasel turned around and ran away. It was so weird. So they found a witch nearby. She said that it was because my grandfather ruined its caves and crushed its baby when repairing the dam. So it came to revenge. Then my grandfather apologized sincerely to the witch and hung a lot of amulets on the beam and walls. Then they didn't see it again.